Hello, friends. Chris Kelly here. Well, another week um, and another look at data. The summer's coming to a close. It's kind of funny because summer doesn't actually get over till the third week in September, but when school starts, it always feels like we've turned a corner. And so the weather hasn't turned the corner. It's fantastic as I look outside. Anyway, let's jump in here and have a quick look at some stats. Let's see if I can minimize myself. There we are. Um, Listing inventory new to the market each week continues to be lower than it has been. Again, these numbers, I was talking about these numbers being lower than they needed to be then. The big problem, of course, during the frenetic market that was the last 2 years was they were being absorbed at a rate that was as fast and sometimes faster than they were going on the market. And that isn't the case here. And it wasn't necessarily the case here either back, pre-pandemic. So, we talked about that a little bit, but these numbers, it's interesting. There's a couple of articles I'm going to attach to this week's post and email if you get it that way, that talks about this. Buyers on one hand, they want to wait. You know what? I'll come back to that. I just want to touch on this and then we'll get past the data. But average sales price is down from last week. I think there we go. So the week prior was or median price was 572 in 15 days on 630 and 29 days, and now we're 550 on 12 days. So a little faster clip. But all in all, this is not moving around too much or too radically. The main move was, getting from 5 and 6 days median up to 12 to 15. And I do think that number will very likely continue upward. But like I said, the big thing to look at, and one of these articles really speaks well to it. And these articles are national in scope, so but they do apply locally. Inventory numbers have moved up, but they're still not so far up that prices are coming down, and that's demonstrable. It's numerically evident or empirically evident. So that's going to continue to be the case, and the irony is sellers are more lackluster. Some are about going to market because we missed the market. Well, it's easier to be a buyer, harder to be a seller. But in all reality, have we moved, and I've talked about this, have we moved from frenetic in pace to balanced? And what exactly is balanced? So, this article speaks fairly well to that. But, if I'm a buyer, and I'm going to sit back, on one hand, I'm going to sit back and go, I'm going to wait. And that's great. You might wait for pricing to come down some, but at what cost? If interest rates go up more, then, there's a yin and a yang there, so to speak. So, if rates go from 5 to 6, but you saved 20 grand on the sales price, the math will prove that one out. It's not necessarily a savings. So you got to be mindful about evaluating that. And again, timing the market is never an exact science, and it's really hard to do. Like I said, for most of us that are buying and are selling, and I just did this. I'm literally just bought and I'm in the middle of selling. So, you do it because it's the right time in your life to be doing what it is you're doing. If the market, I'll tell you, our house pended in 7 days, which is fantastic. So that does still happen. And we did, we worked very hard to make that house a 9 or a 10 on a 10 scale. So like I always said, those houses tend to sell faster. But I'm going to tell you, we didn't have 27 showings and 10 offers. We had a few showings and one good offer, which, as it is enough. But, on one hand, I could be frustrated and say, well, I'm frustrated that I didn't get up and over and 100,000 over my list price, and I didn't have all these offers to choose from. But on the flip side, the house I bought, I didn't pay full price for. So, I mean, it is very relative. And I ended up at a pretty fair interest rate on my buy, and that matters over time. So, there's more to consider than if I'm a buyer, should I wait for prices to come down because there's a cost to that. Beyond the timing of your life, there's potentially an actual economic cost to that. And the same goes for selling, trying to time the market. Well, now we're going to wait for the next 2020 to happen. All right, I guess. But I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing in the scheme of things. It is all relative. Most people that are selling are buying. Not everybody. Most people that are selling are buying in the same market they're selling in. That also matters. It could be a little different if I was selling in Portland and moving to rural New Mexico or Alabama or somewhere other than here where prices might be less. So those are all considerations. It's a more complicated thing than just looking at this myopically. So, and I did, like I said, there's a couple of articles, and the other one is again just a demonstration of why housing inventory proves out that the market isn't heading for a crash. And the long and short of that is inventory isn't so big. Here in Portland, I predict, because the latest market action, I think, got us to 2 months. I think the next month's market action inventory report will probably get us somewhere between 2, 6, and 3 months. I think that'll happen. I think it'll be another pretty good size increase in inventory. But that is still, by historical terms and historical, that's not balanced. That's still a seller's market. Now, in this day and age, that's really balancing compared to where we've been at 0.7, 0.8 months. That is not okay. It's not good. And we've talked about that. So anyway, we're heading into a holiday weekend. And with that, my family and I are going to go out of town and camp. I hope that you and yours are doing well. And as always, if there is anything that we can be doing, I want you to know that we are here for you. So feel free and reach out in whatever form you would like. We're out there in most ways. So anyway, as I always say, till the next time.